Hello the internet, Godex here. I've got a couple of musical instruments that I want to mix together, or to mix their outputs together. So I'm going to use a couple of resistors for under $1. I need to do this today because I have two electronic musical instruments, a Korg K oscillator and a Korg vocal sample. I want to mix their outputs together so I can listen to them simultaneously, but I don't want to go and buy an expensive off-the-shelf mixer. So I'm going to do the same thing using a couple of resistors, these little fellas here. I've purchased these from the local electronics shop. Before we get into that, let's have a look at what it looks like on paper in the form of a circuit diagram. So what I have is an audio signal coming in, which has a ground and another audio signal which also has a ground or an earth. So we're wanting to join these two plus signals, or the two audio signals, together. Now I guess in theory you could simply join the two together, but it's not a great solution. You're going to end up with undesirable artifacts. You would possibly get distortion and a degradation of the sound. We don't want that. So instead what we can do is use resistors in this way. So I'm going to draw it using the symbols that would be used in electronics, but I'll explain it as I go. So here's our two inputs again. What we can do is add a couple of resistors. That's the symbol for a resistor in here, and then join the output of those together, which will avoid any of the problems that would come with simply joining the two together. The other thing we'd have to do then is join the two negative wires together like that, and that then becomes the negative for our output. It's as simple as that. That's an audio mixer. What you'd probably find in a commercial mixer, one you buy off the shelf, is that these signals are amplified. The reason is that doing this automatically loses some of the strength of the signal. Some of the volume of the signal will be dissipated through these resistors. You can't really avoid that. Even if you omit the resistors, you'll still find that this will occur. So amplification is then added in here or after the output to bring the signal back up to its original level. So that is a disadvantage of doing it this way, is you're going to experience a bit of signal loss. I'm going to overcome that if I need to down the track by using a headphone amplifier or a preamp or something like that, which you can buy very cheaply. You know, for $10 or $20 you could buy a preamp to put here. I may not even need it though, so I might have enough signal still. The loss that you might expect through here might be in the order of, say, 30%, so it's not a huge amount. It may not be a problem. So let's see what that would look like. So here's two resistors that I bought from the electronics shop down the road. The value of these is 5k ohms or kilo ohms. Some people might say that that value isn't high enough, especially the hi-fi crowd, and if you're mixing some hi-fi signals you may want to use a higher value than that. Up to 50k or even 100k ohms, 100,000 ohms might be used. I'm trying to get the least signal loss that I possibly can, so I'm going to use a smaller value. 5k is about the smallest value you can use. So the next thing we would do is remove them from their packaging, and then I'm simply going to join these together. Now of course I'll solder these also to make sure that the connection is really good. I'll also use heat shrink tubing to insulate everything and stop things from shorting out. But essentially you can see what we've created there is what we drew a moment ago. So there you have it. Next, I would take my leads. These are the leads that I'll connect to my equipment. I'd then strip some insulation off these wires, off there, and solder them, one each, to the resistors. I would then solder another wire from the output, which will go off to my amplifier or headphones. So you can see it's quite a simple, neat solution to mixing two audio signals together, and great for situations where you might only have a couple of audio sources and you don't need a large, bulky or expensive mixer to do the job. I'm not going to cover more of the details of how to do this, soldering and that sort of thing, the mechanical details. I'll leave that up to you. Okay kids, this is Godex. See you next time.